got this film. I'm going to keep it right here.
I got this film.
You got this film called I'm Going to Tell You a Secret, which some people are calling a sequel to Truth or Dare.
Yeah. It's one way to look at it.
Or is it a variation on a theme?
What's the difference?
Well, the difference is that it's not quite the sequel. It's not like.
Well, it's still me.
Yes.
On the road, on tour, behind the scenes. I tell the truth. I dare to tell the truth.
Right.
And I'm Going to Tell You a Secret is me 12 years later, essentially doing the same thing.
Very provocative title, too.
I'm Going to Tell You a Secret?
Cool.
So is Truth or Dare.
Truth or Dare is a game.
Yeah?
Yeah, but it's not, I mean...
Life is a game.
Yeah, it is. The notion of reinvention, I mean, because it follows you on your reinvention tour, what people know of you for the majority of your career is that it's been a physical or a musical reinvention. This phase of your life seems to represent a spiritual reinvention. Is that accurate? And if so, why did it come about?
Well, I called the tour Reinvention because it was essentially me looking back at the last 20 years of my life as a recording artist and taking everything that I'd done in the past and reinventing it, presenting it in a new and different way and looking to the future and seeing no limitations. So you could say that it's spiritual or cosmic or emotional or metaphysical or all of the above. I do change physically, but hopefully I change mentally, emotionally, intellectually, all of those things. And I think that's what life's about, evolving and changing. And that's why I call the tour that.
There's a good quote in an article written about you in Vanity Fair a couple of years ago where it said, your image has taken a back seat to your life. Is that a fair representation right now of what you're in?
I don't know, don't you like my weenie rolls?
I love your weenie rolls.
Okay.
But it seems to be less about, not that the other images, the other personas were forced, but...
Well, I just think that my life is a lot more informed by my children and my family life. So people are paying attention to other aspects of me, and those things are informing my work. So I think it's just all getting mixed up. It's expanding. It's growing. I'm growing, hopefully.
You have this new record.
Yeah.
Confessions on the Dance Floor.
Yeah.
Which the early buzz said that it was going to go back to your 80s roots. Is that the approach? Is that the approach you had going into
Well,
this
I
year?
wanted to go back to the dance floor and the disco, and because that's how I started. I started with dance music, and dancing was my first love, and that's why I came to New York in the first place, to be a dancer.
Right.
So I guess I wanted to get into that and celebrate that. And I, remember the first time I ever walked into a disco in Detroit, Michigan, and it was a very memorable and euphoric experience for me. So it was an homage to all of those things.
What was the music playing when you walked into that disco? What kind of music was playing?
Oh God, I don't remember. It could have been, that song, Disco Inferno.
Right.
Dun, 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 dun. You know that song?
Burn Baby Burn.
Yeah, you got it.
Disco Inferno. Taken from the film
Saturday Night Fever.
Which inspired, look at the segues.
Hung Up.
Are you keeping track of the segues?
This is crazy.
Of your
Hung Up.
Of your Hung Up video, yeah.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that.
The video? Okay, well, I always have to have a reference point, something to jump off of, something that inspires me every time I make a video. Right. So Saturday Night Fever was that. That was my muse, so to speak. John Travolta, I channeled him. I love him so much in that movie. I think he's just so full of life, and I love the way he moves. I love the innocence and naivety of it, and I just, it just really excited me, and I hadn't seen it in years, and so me and Jamie, the choreographer, watched it a gazillion times. And
yeah, like straight? You watch it 20 times straight or something like that?
No. We watched it, and we chat about it,
Right.
and we give it to the director, and then we watch it again, and we chat about it, and then we go to the key scenes.
It's like a coach breaking down game film or something
Exactly.
like that.
Dance moves, hairstyles, clothes,
The suit, the white suit?
lip gloss.
Does it make an appearance?
No white suits, but weenie rolls. Okay?
The weenie roll is coming back.
Yeah.
Courtesy Madonna. How did you get the guys from ABBA, the guys and gals, I guess, from ABBA to give you the sample?
It was Benny and Bjorn that we went to. Well, I wrote them a letter. We played them the song. I mean, hopefully I conveyed to them that my respect and admiration for everything they've done. Their music seriously inspired this record, but
Right.
I've always loved their records, and I think the clincher was that they liked the song.
And of all their songs in their catalog, why Gimme, Gimme, Gimme?
Because it's got a killer hook in it. Why not?
One of the tracks on the record has caused a bit of a stir.
Really?
Isaac, isn't that the song that's causing a bit of
Yeah.
a bit of controversy right now?
So I've been told.
So you've been told. What have you been told specifically?
I'm told that people think it's a song about Isaac Luria,
Right.
which it's not
Oh, okay.
at all.
So where did they get that?
They just made it up,
Okay.
like most things.
Right.
It's called Isaac because the singer who sings on it is named Isaac. And I couldn't think of a name for the song, so I called it Isaac. It's as simple as that.
Because there was this furor, if you will. Or
I know,
reaction.
but these are people who never heard the record because the record's not out yet. So how do they know what the song's about?
You're growing to a point where you're really letting the philosophy of what you've sort of come to embrace in the last couple of years come out. It's not just about going out and having a good time. And
Yeah, but that's a good thing to do, too.
True enough, but it was interesting when you said that the only thing that's going to change the world is spirituality and not politics.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that politics has become such a problem for us? I mean, some may say throughout the ages since we've decided to have organized.
Because there's too many gods to serve, you know what I mean? A politician has to make so many people happy that he ultimately ends up alienating a lot of people, and a lot of groups or people end up suffering. I mean, it's the nature of the beast.
But how do you get that message across to somebody who, you know, is just trying to scrape out a living, just dealing with what we've seen in the last little while, natural disasters, where, all right, you know, I've got to really get in touch with myself, where all they're worried about is finding a place to sleep.
Survival.
Yeah.
Well, first you do have to take care of those things.
Right.
Survival. Take care of your family, your own health, your own safety, how you're going to live, how you're going to eat, where you're going to sleep. Those are, you know, number one priority. But you know, I'm addressing people who are not in those life-threatening situations, and there are a lot of people who live very comfortable lives who can afford to step back and say, okay, what am I doing to help other people? What am I doing with my life? What am I doing to make the world a better place? And you know, you don't have to, you know, go to Africa and you know, join the
Peace Corps.
The Peace Corps. I mean, you can make the world a better place by improving your relationship with your family or your children or your parents or whatever.
Again, it's a tough message to get across to someone who's, I mean, you talk about how difficult it is to balance life and work, and
Yeah.
thankfully you're in a position to have a good support system to allow you to do that.
Yeah.
Most people don't. Most people are their own driver, their own cook, their bottle washer,
Yeah,
whatever.
but that doesn't mean that I have the same challenges. I still have to, you know, I still have the obligation, and I want to, it's not an obligation, but, you know, I still have children that need me around. I still have responsibilities because of the choices I've made, and, you know, my struggles are not exactly the same as other people's, but when you get right down to it, it is. I do believe that a person who has achieved a lot, who's looked at life from both sides, who has had the benefit of, you know, fame and fortune, is in a very good position to say, you know what, it doesn't mean what everybody thinks it means. Right. Who better to say that than somebody who has achieved those things? Because we live in a society that, you know, encourages people to have that as their main and only goal. Right. To, you know, be rich and successful or famous.
It's kind of what you refer to as the beast, right? The material
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Which is interesting coming from someone who was singing about that many
Yes,
years
but that
ago.
was ironic.
It was indeed. You said you've always felt it was your job to wake people up, to give them tools and direction, otherwise they'll fall back asleep. What kind of tools and direction are you talking about?
Well, first of all, I have to practice what I preach.
Right.
I can't just talk the talk, I have to walk the walk, and that's the biggest thing. And one of my biggest things that I try to impart to people is that, you know, it starts with yourself. It starts with taking responsibility for yourself, for your words, for your actions, and that's a tool right there.
Right.
Because as soon as you start thinking, okay, everything I say is going to come back to me and everything I do is going to come back to me, that puts a whole new spin on everything.
And you want to inspire people to be better versions of themselves. Again,
Yeah.
how do you expect
Well, that's
that?
a play on the whole reinvention thing.
Right.
And, you know, we all came to this world to achieve something and to and to do something special. And so the idea is, you know, are you figuring out what that is? Are you getting close to that? Do you think you've reached your potential? Are you doing everything you think you can do?
Why do you think it's...
Are you?
Oh, you're asking, you're not being rhetorical.
Both. No, but that's a good, it's a good question to ask and to be asked.
Have you had people come up to you, whether in the streets or you know, just when you're making your way in the world? I don't know how you're able to interact with a lot of people, because again, the nature of the beast of your success, of your celebrity, is that you have to insulate yourself a little bit.
Yep.
But have you had responses from people saying, you know, thanks, that was, it sort of turned on a light or a switch in my head to make me think about those things, and I have started to look inward as much as outward.
I have. People do come up to me and say that, or write me letters or whatever, yeah.
What has been the most, say, rewarding response that you've received from someone, or most memorable along those lines?
I get a lot of people just saying, you know, you changed my life. You made me look at life in a different way. And that's really, if I do that for people, then I feel like I've accomplished a lot.
Talk a little bit about that for those of us who hadn't had an opportunity to see the show, in terms of what goes into putting, you know...
Show together?
Yes.
Where to begin?
With Jamie King, I think?
Yeah, Jamie King, yeah. Well, I have to find a director, and I have to find a musical director. And I was very privileged to have Stuart and Jamie as my co-pilots. And I think working on the music at the same time as, like, you know, putting together how the show is going to evolve and what it's going to look like. I mean, they play off of each other, and as the music changes, the staging changes, and the staging changes, and the music changes, and it's just this another beast that begins to grow. Yeah.
There's a moment, or a couple of moments in the documentary, and thus the stage show, where it gets quite heavy. I mean, maybe something that a lot of your fans weren't expecting, especially when you perform American Life. Talk a little bit about that in terms of what, I mean, it's obvious the message that you're trying to get across, but why you felt it was important to use your stage as you did, as a, for lack of a better word, a soapbox in some respects.
I wanted to show the reality of war. The tragedy of war, the suffering and the heartache, and, you know, war isn't something that happens over there, you know, it happens to people like you and me, children and mothers, and it's very real, and it's part of our life. It's become part of our life now. And you know, obviously I don't want it to happen. I'm against it, and sometimes you have to shove it in people's faces. That's
the question. Is it the responsibility of yourself or Green Day or U2 or Pearl Jam to get that message out there to people who basically come in to be entertained, you know? Yeah,
but I think people were entertained too. I think it's, you know, it's what I choose to do. You know, I could just put on an entertaining show, but then people are going to leave and they're going to forget about it.
The variation of the theme that I was thinking of earlier in terms of this versus, or picking up from where Truth or Dare may have left off, is that it's not about your work family anymore. It's about your biological, your
Well, it's about both of my families.
Right, correct. And I found that entertaining too. In fact, there was a bit there between Lola, if I may call her that, her nickname.
Of course.
Lola and Rocco interacting. And I was like, this is the mini-me version of you and Guy. Is that accurate?
Kind of.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why did you feel that it was necessary, or you wanted it to be a part of the documentary to show that side of your life, where a lot of celebrities and a lot of people in your position would say, no, that's where we draw the line?
If I'm going to make a documentary about me, my life, and I'm going to share my beliefs with people, I think people need to see me as a human being. I think my children and my husband and my family life are a big part of my life. They inform a lot of what I do, and I think it would have been a mistake and a lie to leave that out. I also feel that I wanted to show the struggle between, you know, my work life and my family life, because it is a struggle, and I think a lot of people who work and have families can relate to that.
If you write a book on relationships, it should be called If you think you found your soulmate, run in the opposite direction.
No, if you think you found someone who's perfect, then run in the opposite.
Why?
Because if someone's perfect, they're not going to challenge you. If someone's perfect, they're not going to make you grow. I mean, and you're going to get bored of them, and it's not going to last, so why bother?
The documentary starts off where you and your producer Stuart Price are collaborating, but it's more on the music that you're working on. As far as lyrics are concerned, what's your writing process like? How do you do that?
It's all different. Sometimes I hear music and it inspires lyrics. Sometimes I write stuff and I bring it to Stuart and I sing a melody to him and he puts music behind it. I could read a newspaper article and see a phrase in it and go, oh, that is dope, I gotta put that in a song. So it's all different.
There's a line in Hung Up that talks about time goes by so slowly for those who wait, no time to hesitate. Those who run seem to have all the fun. I'm caught up, I don't know what to do. Who's on the run, Madonna? And who's having fun? That's the question.
That's a very good question. Yeah. The whole world's on the run.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're having fun, but I'm having fun. Yeah. I mean, that's about not letting time waste and seizing the moment and going for it.
What did you mean by the line, I'm caught up, but I don't know what to do?
Oh, I don't know. I just threw that in there. It doesn't mean anything.
How much?
Sounds good.
Yeah, it does.
It rhymes.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, as a fan of your music or just music in general, you sit down and you just break down these lyrics. You know,
best not to do that.
No.
I mean, you know, sometimes you can take them literally, and sometimes they're very abstract. I mean, Hung Up is about seizing the moment, but if you get into the chorus, lyrics in the chorus, it sounds like I'm a spurned lover, or you know, I'm tired of waiting around for this person, and you know, but it's a love song about life and not wanting to wait, wanting to seize the moment.
How much does your spirituality affect or influence your writing as well? You were talking about reading the newspaper and getting inspiration, or anything that happens in your life. But what about your actual belief system, your thought, you know, your spirituality in terms of Kabbalah?
Yeah. Well, I think it inspires me. I think it informs me. I think that I get things from it that, I mean, it definitely inspires my songwriting.
In what way, though, specifically?
Phrases come to mind, ideas come to mind, and you know, even a song like "That It Will Be," which is, you know, essentially about looking at fame and fortune and saying, now I can tell you about success, about fame, about the rise and fall of all the stars in the sky. I mean, it's about asking questions. I mean, the whole point of me studying or whatever is just, I got to a certain place in my life and I said, is that all there is, you know? So it makes me ask questions, and those questions provoke ideas and thoughts and music.
I was surprised to hear it that this new record was going to be as electronic sounding as it is, considering you learned to play guitar over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
The documentary has you playing guitar. I thought for some reason that the next logical step for you, the progression...
Folk music?
No, not folk music. A little Green Day influence, perhaps. You know, it'll get garage rock.
I rock out on I Love New York.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
But it's predominantly electronic.
But it's good to keep you guessing. So
yeah.
Every time you think I'm going to do something, I do something else.
And Stuart, your producer, basically road tested some of the songs already, right?
Yep.
At gigs?
Being the inimitable DJ that he is, he got to go out. I feel very privileged that he got to do that. Go out to clubs where he was spinning and, you know, sneak in a dub mix of something and see how people reacted to it, and if they reacted great, you know, focusing on the strengths and like going, okay, that part wasn't so good, let's get rid of that part, we need to work on that. Or some songs didn't work at all, and we didn't use those. What
do you want to do next? Like, do you want to go on the road? Do you want to put out another record? Go back in the studio?
Put out another record, dude. I just put out a record.
No. But some people just race back into...
No.
Did you just call me dude, by the way?
I did.
Come on.
Sorry, I'm from Michigan.
Yeah. But, I mean, no, but, like, do you want to, like, a band like R.E.M. went through a phase where they just kept going back into the studio?
Oh, no, I don't really like the studio too much. It's lonely. Lonely. I don't like to sit still. So what I want to do next is probably go on tour. I've got lots of plans for myself, as you could imagine. That's one of them. Yeah.
Any others you want to share?
I'd love to direct a film.
Ah! Eureka! People are starring that right now. This is a news breaking. Do you have a project in mind, or?
I do.
Yeah?
A few.
Anything you want to talk about?
Nope.
All right. You gonna get pointers, tips from any directors you might know?
Well, I'm married to a director.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, really? Now I know you are, but have you talked to him and consulted with him on...
No.
And will you?
Nope. No, I don't. I mean, listen, I talk to him about all the time about what he's working on. I learn from watching him. But I've made a lot of films, and I have a lot of very good friends who are directors. So.
Well, thank you very much for spending time with us.
My pleasure.
Lovely of you to drop by.
Yeah.
And congratulations on the album and the
Thank you.
documentary.
Thank you.
Pleasure.